Welcome to the LongBox Paradox. I am Dan at comic_chop_news on Instagram with my co-host Jennifer. Comics will break your heart on YouTube. Comic books will break your heart on Instagram because that's just the way social media works.
Yeah.
Fair or not. Just going to say we're all kind of a little bit under the weather in our own little ways.
Speaking of under the weather, I'm currently under like 5 inches of snow here. I've just been like watching it fall. I got to wake up to a beautiful like snow dusted city.
Until you go out and it's pretty.
Yeah, I'm excited to go walk in it. After the show, I actually have a tiny walk planned. I'm going to try to go a couple blocks.
Could you not fall and break your ankle this time?
I'm going to try not to. Hey, I broke my foot. In complete like sunny, beautiful day. So, we'll see. I'm going to try not to bust my ass in the snow.
So there was a little bit of news that came out. One having to do with Future State, that Michael W. Conrad, Becky Cloonan, with Michael Avon Oeming and Taki Soma will be continuing Midnighter in its own series. So we are seeing more drips and drabs of what actually is coming out of Future State and continuing. I'm still not a fan of the whole Wonder Girl thing.
I don't like calling her Wonder Girl.
Give her a different name if you're gonna do that. Like,
or just call her Yara, or just call her like, I don't know. They're maybe make her own character. Like, don't even give her a Wonder title.
Yeah. I've also seen now the feeding frenzy now that James Tynion's like, hey, Miracle Molly is going to be appearing in Batman 108. By the way, we have this Art Germ cover that looks amazing, and we have this 1 in 25 Riccardo Federici cover, and now this character might be important, so the feeding frenzy begins.
I'm actually really excited about it. I think that she looks adorable, and, I did think that Punchline kind of looked adorable, and, I have mixed feelings about that, but as soon as I saw the picture of Miracle Molly, she reminds me of Delirium from Sandman. So I'm actually really maybe that's why I'm really excited about it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, okay, and then I saw the Riccardo Federici profile picture. I was like, okay, I messaged Andrew. I was like, hey, I might want this. So just putting it out there. He will, of course, have everything at cover price. So when it comes up, you could probably message him and pre-order it with him if you would like. He might appreciate that. There was something else out of Future State that was kind of spinning out. It was in the back of one of the books, which we'll get to, because I don't know which ones you read and which ones you didn't for Future State. Yeah. So we will get into that, and the ones you didn't read, I will fill in the blanks. Did you read Dark Detective?
Nope. The only two that I read, I've read 2 and a quarter of one. The two that I read was Superman, Wonder Woman, and Super Kara Zor-El, Superwoman. Those were the only two that I read, and I started to read Justice League, and that's where I think my brain was just blocked up, and I feel like I am honestly just right now, as I went into Future State, just being like, I am all in. Give me every single title of Future State. I will read each and every one of them. And now it feels more like a chore than anything. And I'm just like, I'm not enjoying most of these titles. So these
Can I take a moment for a second? Stay Puff. I'm loving your Instagram posts. Also, really quickly, you had posted Jim Owsley, Christopher Priest. And I just want to tell the story real quick about why he changed his name to Christopher Priest. So he had told his wife that if she ever left him, he would become a priest. And he walked into the Marvel offices one day and it's like, yeah, so my name's Christopher Priest now. And Joe Quesada's like, wait, what? And he goes, oh yeah, I told my wife that if she ever left me, I'd become a priest. He goes, I wasn't actually going to become a priest, so I just changed my name. So I just found it like kind of a hysterical story that's very matter-of-factly told. But
That's funny. I
Sean's
didn't know that.
posting African American creators for Black History Month every day, and he's a good follow. So go check out his Instagram, and of course his show with Varangian Vigilante.
Which just ended. I just hopped on to like the tail end of it, but didn't really get a chance to say hi. But I was there in the chat for a couple moments, and also hi to John.
Yes. Thank you, John, for popping in the Tag Team Thursday yesterday premiere. Appreciate that. So, Dark Detective, which was a book that I was looking forward to, I hate.
Ooh.
I hate all the Batman books. Hey, Roscoe, how are you doing?
I feel like that's part of my frustration. Like, granted, like I love Wonder Woman, I love Swamp Thing, and I did actually like I enjoyed Superwoman and some of the other ones, but I feel like all the Batman titles should have been standout titles. Like there should be no reason why I'm not loving like any of the Bat titles, and they're probably on the bottom of my pile for a reason.
Yeah, Dark Detective I really didn't enjoy. Green Lantern I hate. I fucking hate this book.
Yeah.
And I like Green Lantern, like usually, and I just did not gravitate to it at all. Like I'm not feeling it. Harley Quinn was one of the ones that I was surprised I liked.
Mm-hmm.
But you put Simone DeMeo with Stephanie Phillips, and it's very good. Yeah, Tamaki, I thought I was going to like it, and I don't.
I don't know why that is. I can't.
It's so dense with shit that went on currently in Detective that they jumped years ahead, and it's like, what the fuck?
I really think that if and I feel like I've been saying this since like at least week 2. It was like really I feel like if DC had done a better job of advertising or giving us a guide map or road map, more than just like the tiny little blurb in the beginning of all the future state books, if they had done that,
like a zero issue to all the books where it was just like a couple of pages, just yeah, I could see that probably would have been smart, but
I probably would have, like, especially for ones like The Flash. Like, I feel like I didn't enjoy The Flash because it's really for people who are like balls deep in The Flash, and I am not. Like, I am ankle deep at most in Flash. So I don't know.
And then it tied into Titans.
Yeah. So I think that if with 10 of Swords, right? Like we got read this one, read this one, read this one. And I think with Hickman being like the editor of X, the head of X, whatever, Jonathan Professor X, he's kind of overseeing all this and is like able to curate it. I think that if there was something like that done with this, they could have all been the same stories, but I would have enjoyed it more.
Well, plus you had issue 12 of X-Men that kind of set the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had X of Swords, what was it? Creation, which really like dove into everything. So you had stuff leading into it, so you weren't just like dropped in like, hey, by the way, here you go. So Justice League.
I literally I maybe got 2 pages into that and I'm just like, I'm done. Nah.
Bland beginning, and then I was like, oh my god, this is literally tying into Grant Morrison's JLA.
Okay.
Like real 25, 30 years later kind of like, I was just like, Williamson, what are we doing here? Like, this is weird. And I say that out of respect.
Yeah.
I liked it, did not love it, which is sad because I kind of liked the first issue.
Yeah.
So for the most part, a lot of these are like 5s and 6s from me, and
yeah. I do.
This is popular opinion, Stay Puft. Everybody, I think, is like, this is too long.
It really is, and I think the once again, it's honestly, I went into Future State being like, I really am enjoying this. I'm here for the ride. And now, what, 5 weeks later, I'm like, I'm ready for it to be over. It's a hot mess. I feel bad for anyone who, because I feel like I'm fairly optimistic when it comes to these. Like, I'm
Would this have
along,
been better as an anthology book?
um, maybe if they, so for instance,
The price points on some of these really are painful.
now I didn't finish this, but Love is a Battlefield came out, and this is $10, and I feel like
You got a lot in it.
you got a lot in it, and I wish that they would have maybe just done issues like this, how they do
Couple of
their like
pages for each.
Halloween. Yeah, so I think that if they were contained stories instead of being like, so for instance, I did read this week these two, and I really enjoyed this one a
Kara
lot.
Zor-El was the next one we were up to.
Yeah, I think that the Marguerites doing this, I mean, it's a great combo of people doing the books, and I didn't like the end, and I'm gonna spoil it here.
Did you
So
see the panel they snuck in?
where they like kind of are holding hands.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like zeroed in on that. They didn't sneak that in. I mean, at
I
least not
thought
for
it
me.
well, I thought it was kind of like stealthily thrown in there because I was like flipping and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, that makes sense."
I did expect more though. Like I was hoping that because you see them kind of next to each other, and then I was expecting towards the end of the book there to be like more intimate moments where instead of just baiting queer people, they're like, here you go, like on a platter. Here's some queer
Here-
characters for
Nope,
your enjoyment.
We got a little Thelma and Louise.
Yeah. So I think that I did enjoy this, but I wanted more. Spoiler alert. So go ahead and kind of like close your ears if you haven't read it. But Superwoman, Kara Zor-El, dies at the end. And I don't know if they're going to bring her back. I really hope so because I would 100% see, I want to see more of this so bad. I don't,
Crypto's little paw prints on his grave,
oh,
and then his toy. I was like,
mm-hmm,
"Oh." So that kind of
yes.
got me. I thought this was like a 6.5 or a 7. Again,
Mhm.
like it was okay, but I think they could have done more.
Yeah. Once again, I do think that
They
DC could
rushed
have
it.
DC did rush it, and you know, we all went into DC Future State, at least I did, knowing it was only going to be a 2 month event. But I so I'm like, okay, it's going to be self-contained stories, but I didn't honestly um, get the impression of how abrupt I'd be put into it and how abruptly I'd be taken out of it. So I am glad that we are getting Yara. We're getting more of Yara, but I need more of some of these other characters to like really flesh them out.
Do you feel like this might have been planned as a longer event at some point and they just truncated it? They're like, well, we already have some of this already planned out, so let's
Mm-hmm.
do it, but just let's not make it as long.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So one that you didn't read yet, and well, actually, hold on. We'll do Superman Wonder Woman since you read that. I really liked this issue.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun, which I shouldn't be surprised because it's Dan Waters, Layla Del Duca, who,
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't read Shudder,
Shudder. Mm-hmm.
and also Sleepless.
Sleepless. Mm-hmm. Sleepless.
I
I
really
enjoyed
like.
a lot.
I'm a huge fan of Layla Del Duca, so like I'll pick up usually anything she puts out, and this was a lot of Yara having fun because right away she's like trying to tame the moon's horse,
Mm-hmm.
and Jonathan's like, "Hey, like you're not gonna do it that way. Like here, let me talk to it."
Yeah.
Um, and then they switch villains, and it was fun. Like it was a nice adventure. It was kind of like a don't think too hard on it, lose yourself.
Yeah, and I think there is a moment at the end where I feel like they're giving a romantic moment
They're
between the
trying again,
two, and
yes.
I'm not here for. I don't know why. I just think that um I do think that Yara deserves someone better than John Kent.
I don't get the chemistry.
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
feel it's there.
They're
Like
definitely like I could see them being like good cop, bad cop type thing. You know, a partnership I could see a team up, but definitely not like a romantic team up. I think Yara deserves like Big Barda or I don't know. I'm gonna think on this a little bit more.
Nightwing.
No. Mm-mm.
Like I don't. I totally could see her being pansexual.
Yeah.
I just get that vibe.
I'm gonna think about this. I'm gonna think about Thirst Trap Yara and whatever I want my scissor fantasy with Yara to be. We'll come back to it. We've
Huntress.
got Huntress. Yeah, I could 100%. Her and Huntress, I could 100% see
Little
together.
dirty angry girl.
Yeah, 100% Huntress and Yara Floor. Yeah, let's make this happen.
I mean, if you really wanted to get down and dirty, Renee Montoya.
I could see that being a very interesting love triangle for sure. But I
I
feel
think
like
that's a little too dark for her.
yeah,
She needs a little fun in her life.
agreed. So for me, like the two future state books that I did read this week, I enjoyed. I'll probably get to the rest of the stack of future state at some point. Um,
I would only recommend Teen Titans because it shocked the shit out of me. Like
yeah.
I didn't love the first issue, and then this issue I was like, okay, I need to read Titans Academy now because they reveal like what the fuck Red X did.
Yeah.
And he unleashed the Four Horsemen. That Wally West became one of.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to keep fucking with Wally West because reasons. I really enjoyed Teen Titans. This was like a solid 8 for me.
Okay.
And I was not expecting it. And they talk about why Dick has Deathstroke's mask. And they're like, what are you, Deathwing now or Dickstroke?
Oh no.
Yes, Cybeast or Beast Boy says that.
Okay. That's kind of cute. I'll read that one then.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed that one. So my overall thoughts on Future State now are 5 weeks is probably too long.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still another week to go. Whereas like the first wave that came out, we were like, oh, this is really good.
I was riding high on that first week.
It's down to like 5 or 6. I am really looking forward to Immortal Wonder Woman next week, though.
Definitely. And what was it? 2 weeks ago, I only read a couple of other future state books, and Superman versus Imperious Lex I really enjoyed. So I definitely want to see more of that.
MJ, I'm not gonna lie, like I struggled with Superwoman a little bit. Like there was a lot going on, and again, I think this is a book that should have been 4 issues because they tried to freaking compact so much into so little time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I do agree. I want more, and I hope for some reason they bring her back or something, because I think that she's a great character.
So we will go now with our picks.
This week was a hefty week for me.
It was for me as well.
So, not only did I get I actually found like a lot of back issues. I found myself reading a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally read. Let me go. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one. I don't know if you got this one and read it. Casual Fling. Did you read this one?
No, I did not.
I almost did not pick this up, and I honestly have no clue. Like maybe it's because the show that I'm doing later tonight, they were reading this one. A couple people were, so I'm like, okay, let me pick this one up. And I think Mars picked it up. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and pick it up. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. There were moments that felt really cringy. It's basically setting it up like a working woman with a family. Can she have it all? And is she going to make the sacrifice of her family? But is she going to make the sacrifice of in order to do stuff for work? She starts flirting with a dude from work, and she has a casual fling with him. See where I went there?
Mm.
And so she has an affair with him, and something happens, and so I think that they did like kind of like they hooked you in at the end. So I think that is kind of interesting. I might pick up the second one, but it's only 4 issues, so I may just go ahead and wait for the trade. So I usually don't pick up a lot of stuff by AWA because it's hit or miss. The artwork wasn't bad, the story wasn't bad, but there were just some cringy moments. So I might pick up the trade.
That seems to be like an AWA thing where like it hooks you enough, but there at least in every book is a moment where you're like, I don't know about this. Like,
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like they need an editor with a little bit more nuance, or with a little bit of a guiding hand, something like that. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but it was definitely not one that I loved. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, which isn't horrible. So that's how I
so
felt about that.
a book that we've talked about quite a bit, Bliss #5 came out,
Mm, yep.
and it really opened up more of what's going on with Brent and everything.
Mhm.
And like he rides a fucking vulture to fight a god.
Yeah.
And finding out like how he got his memories back from the Bliss, and basically the god is addicted to all these people's emotions it's stealing. This actually opened the world up way more and told you more in one issue than the rest of it did.
I agree. Like I think that with this one we did get a lot more information. This has been an emotional roller coaster, and I feel like I I believe I said this before, but the first couple of issues are so like dark and depressing, and I feel like that was my mentality, but I feel like each new episode they give me a little bit more hope, a little bit more hope. So I honestly think that this one is going to end with a I think this is going to give us a happy ending, and it'll be bittersweet. Um, but I cannot wait for this to like this because it's only 8 issues, and this one was what, the fifth, so there's only a couple more issues.
It's like an
um
addict going through recovery and like having to reconcile what they did. And in that, like he's outside that person's house and he's like, I'm sorry I killed your mother.
mhm. Literally um wrestling with the demons of his past and what he did, and to me it's kind of that um moral conundrum. Do you to use what's that fucking musical, Jean Valjean, god damn it, what's that?
Oh, not Lacoste.
Les Miserables. So
Lacoste.
Les
Oh, what
Miserables.
the fuck?
So with Les Miserables, it's like, do you steal a loaf of bread so your family can, not go hungry? And I feel like this is like a weird sci-fi version of that because that's kind of the moral conundrum that's going on. Um, I think that it'll end on a happy ending, but I can't wait for it to end because then I can go back and just read all of them at once.
Do you think if you were going to recommend this to a reader that you tell them to wait for the trade or buy the issues?
At this point, because we're on issue 5, I would say wait for the trade. Um, I would probably say at this point, wait for the trade. I feel like I was screaming about it on like issue 2 and 3. So if you didn't hear me on issue 2 and 3, then, it's all right. Listen to me next time. No, I'm just kidding. But I do think that I think that it's going to be a good trade read. I can't wait for the trade to come out to just read it all again because I'm not going to go through my single issues again.
I'd say this probably was the most important issue of the run so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving this an 8.5.
Mm-hmm. And really quick, I just want to take a moment too. Caitlin Yarsky's artwork in this is absolutely beautiful, stunning, dynamic. Like what other I don't know, superlatives or whatever can I give her? Because it's fantastic. I think the work on this is better even than Coyotes, which I thought it was a fun, not necessarily fun, but an okay book. But this one has been like month after month a solid read.
And I love that god is fucking evil and it's always smiling.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Once again, I feel like Image is not promoting the titles that it should be, because this came out around the same time as Mercy, like maybe a month or two after Mercy, and I keep hearing about Mercy #1 going to second, going to third, going to
Did you
fourth
see how much
print.
they've been promoting Deep Beyond? Like,
Yeah.
Mir Gandolfo has something on, like, Cat Salazar. Like, it's got to
Yeah.
be, like,
Yeah.
unless it's just, like, everybody knows this name.
And Mirka Andolfo's artwork is beautiful. I don't hate her artwork, but I do think that I don't know. I couldn't get into Mercy, cannot get into Deep Beyond, um, un, uns not Unsacred,
Oh, yeah, the one with the animal.
Unnatural.
Unnatural, yeah.
Unnatural was eight. So I'm just not.
Your next pick.
My next pick. All right. So if I had to go with the second, the one that I did want to talk about. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we were gonna. Oh man, do I want to do this one or do I'll go ahead and do this one since I held it up. Radiant Black. I okay. I went into the comic book store with very high expectations. I'm like, I'm gonna love this title.
I like Kyle Higgins, and this. I had the same reaction I had to Stillwater with this, maybe watered down.
Well, what I was going to say is that I went into the comic book store with very high expectations on this. I went, and so then Nick at my shop was like, Radiant Black wasn't that good. So immediately, just like expectations crashed. I read it and I actually enjoyed it. And I'm really, really glad that I got like it's not that great, because then I was like, okay, I think that if I hadn't had the it's not that great, my expectations would have been way high and wouldn't have met. So go into it knowing that it's uh, not going to be like to me, this is the next Saga. It's not the next East of West Descender. It's not any of those big titles.
It's not even the next Invincible. It's just
no.
It's formulaic is what it is.
I feel like it's Image's version of Power Rangers, I guess. Like that's the only really.
Which he wrote Power Rangers.
So there is something to be said about that. I think that this is going to be a great trade weight. I do think that if you are enjoying Commanders in Crisis, I think that you would actually enjoy Radiant Black. To me, it's like Commanders in Crisis meets Power Rangers.
I was a huge fan of Kyle Higgins' Gates of Gotham and Nightwing, and I went into this and I was disappointed. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. I know they were hyping the shit out of this book,
especially with all the covers. I did get the other cover as well. I cannot remember. Josue is their name, and I bumped into them at the comic book store, which was really, really cool, because we kind of had a moment and it was really fun. But anyways, he made a good point, and he said it feels like Image is doing what Boom did, and Boom is doing what Image did. Like if you take a look at titles like Once in Future and Something is Killing the Children, like those feel like Image books, and to me this feels like a Boom book. And he said that, and like that made a lot of sense to me, so thank you for that point there.
So my next book is one that actually kind of like broke my heart after reading. Devil's Red Bride #5.
Oh, I know, because it's the end, right?
Yes. Wow. Like, I was not expecting it to go the way it did, and then find out who actually slaughtered her clan. It was heavy, especially the self-reflection of her talking to her sword. And it basically saying, I'm not the monster. When you look at the sword, what's looking back at you?
Oh, what is a sword? Like that entire moment where it's like, what is a sword? It's a weapon. No, it's this, it's that. No, it's a mirror. And in that moment, you're right. Like that literally cut deep.
So, I mean, at this point, the trade's coming out, but like, I can't recommend this book higher, especially if you like Kurosawa films
Mm-hmm.
or, was it Wook Chan Park?
Oh, like Wook Chan Park, who did Old Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, there there is a brutality to this book, and at the same time, like how even as badass as this woman is, like she's looked down upon by her
Mm-hmm.
family.
Yeah.
Like her brother is just like, listen, I'm not talking to you. Like you're gonna get married and you're gonna like it, and don't fucking talk to me till you're married.
Don't talk to me again until you're married. So
Yeah,
I was really not necessarily surprised because I've been digging this title since issue 1. Um, so
I was shocked by the end. Like
yeah,
I was not expecting it to be as I wasn't expecting a happy ending, but at the same time I was not expecting it to be as fucking dark as it was.
yeah, for sure.
Especially the battle between the two. She's like, we could have been sisters
Hmm.
with our blood sacrifices.
Yeah, and then yeah, I don't want to really spoil anything, but seriously, Devil's Red Bride by Vault Comics. Vault has been doing some good things too. Like I feel like image type quality books coming out from Vault.
Yeah, definitely check this out when it comes out in trade, or if you can find the single issues at a sale at your shop. Like, I can't recommend it high enough because the covers don't really do the book itself
Yeah.
justice.
Like it kind of gives you a feel like you know that there's going to be some like samurai elements and things like that. But I really don't think that it explains how
if
deeply emotional this book is.
if you wanted a fucked up, emotional, vicious Mulan without
Hmm.
the cute
Yeah.
dragon,
Yep. Mulan and Old Boy. Yeah.
um, yeah, on 9.5.
Yep. I would say right there, nine and a half.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your next book.
So my next book, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Black Hammer Visions. I am a it's no secret. We both we love the Black Hammer universe.
I saw what you
I
messaged to Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, and I got a couple thumbs up from Patton Oswald. So notice me, senpai, Patton Oswald. Um, ooh, is that awakening something? I have Most people who know me know that I have a filthy thing for Steve Buscemi, John C. Riley, and the like. So maybe do I have after this a filthy thing for Patton Oswalt? Who knows? But
So
I've
John
been
C. Riley, like, I'm not gonna lie, I love Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Like,
mhm.
I unabashedly love that movie. It's so dumb, and I can't. I love it so much.
It's so good, so quotable. But anyways, Black Hammer, written by Patton Oswalt. For anyone who has read Black Hammer, these are basically single issue, contained stories for each of the characters in Black Hammer. And this one is Golden Gale, and it is a total literally. I opened up and Tom Waits, thank you, off screen. Tom, I have a filthy thing for Tom Waits, Brent Spiner. It's ridiculous, folks.
You have a really long list.
I do. Yeah, 100%. Anyways, so with Black Hammer, this one immediately when I opened it up, it was like you see the Ghost World influences, and even Patton Oswalt mentioned it's definitely some Daniel Clowes influences, but 100% inspired by Ghost World, it's one of my absolute favorite comic book movies. I enjoyed the movie better than the comic book, but absolutely love this. It was beautiful. Um, I am not looking forward to the next one. And it's because I'm just going to say here, fuck Jeff Johns.
Oh, I
So
didn't even look at who the next one was.
the next one is going to be by Jeff Johns, and I will not be talking about it. So, but
It was
anyways,
weird. It was weird that Golden Gale wasn't even the star of her own story. She
yeah,
was
that
kind
it
of a
was this
background character.
Eunice and I forget, basically
Yeah,
the two ladies from Ghost World, but it was
Thora Birch
in Scarlett Johansson.
yeah.
So I think that if you can still maybe enjoy this if you haven't read Black Hammer, but I feel like it won't make sense. Read the first volume of Black Hammer and then pick these up, but don't even worry about picking up the second one, because why? It's from Quills. Mm. Ah, yeah, it's a thing.
Allow me to get up on my pulpit right now.
What's your next pick?
The final issue of Low came out by Greg Tuccini and Rick Remender, and it subverted my expectations. It literally shocked me enough that I had to message Sid and say what I thought was going to happen did not happen, and I'll just say it had a happy fucking ending. I literally, from the first time I read this book, I was like, nothing good is ever going to happen.
Mm-mm.
And it had a happy ending. And I was just like, okay, Rick Remender, like, did you just take all your bad vibes and put it on Scumbag?
Probably channeled all that like energy.
Like, I was shocked at the ending because I got to it. I was like, is there more? I was like, oh okay. Like, this was not what I was expecting. Slow clap. And it's always interesting when either my expectations are completely like with Paper Girls, where like I thought the ending just kind of was like, whatever, it happened, it's done, moving on. And then like this, where I was like, well, hello depression, my old friend. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, I was not expecting this. And like it made me kind of happy seeing a happy ending. Because, again, I was expecting just everybody to die.
Yeah.
Like, the world just end and just be like, the end, black.
The end, question mark?
No, I don't think Remender's that type of guy. I think it, like, literally be like, you fool, you had hope. Go fucking kill yourself and piss on yourself while on fire. He's that kind of, like, entropy nihilist. So I was pleasantly surprised. I'm going to give this a 7.5. And it was a little messy. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bittersweet at moments, especially seeing one of the characters that I have tattooed on my back die.
Ooh, spoiler alert.
Nobody knows who's tattooed on my back except for 4 people, 5.
Oh.
So, anywho, I was kind of surprised. Overall, I still really like the series. I know you
don't like it. I'm just gonna say I don't like it. I don't like Rick Remender. Not really a big fan of their writing, so
there.
Yeah. Whatever.
I was gonna say, I was like, did he come out as non-binary or?
No, I'm just saying. I don't. Rick Remender hasn't told me his pronouns, or hasn't told me their pronouns. So until I know, then.
So then's our 3 picks, but we both picked up a lot of books this week.
Yeah, I think you said that you had like 32.
32, and I think I read 20 of them.
Yeah, I had 29 single issues that wasn't because I ended up picking up a lot more with I got a couple back issues with things. I got a couple of variant covers and just multiple pickups. So literally, like, I still have like
yeah,
all
I know we have some overlapping ones, like I'm sure Homesick Pilots.
Yeah. Yeah.
When in doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so like let's
man, I don't even know where to start. Since you just mentioned it, let's go ahead and talk about Homesick Pilots, though. I'm looking for it in my pile. I feel like I didn't love this issue. It was interesting, but I feel like the previous one was more interesting. It was still good, but I just feel like it didn't tell us more than we already didn't know, if that
They
makes sense.
tried to do too much, like they focused on too many characters. And like I don't feel like Buzz is the most interesting character.
Mm-hmm. But still, I still really like Dan Waters,
The
so
VHS monster was interesting.
that was actually kind of cool. This one, for sure, 100% 90s nostalgia. Like, only 90s kids will get this. Were you a latchkey kid? This is the book for you. So anyways, it's a good series, I think, so far. This one is just one of those like dip, and I think issue 4 and 5 is going to like go from 0 to 100.
I liked it. Again, like I said, I thought it was just a little messy compared to the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I Walk with Monsters.
Issue 3.
Yes. Um, some interesting dialogue choices in here, especially between her and I cannot remember the name of her monster. And kind of a little bit of his past and his history, and like basically he's like, so I need to kill that guy for you, and then can we stop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got the Jen Hickman variant, and I love their artwork because Jen Hickman uses they them pronouns.
I don't follow them on Twitter. Them.
Them.
I was right the first time. God damn it! I corrected myself
I
because of
know.
the fucking grammar.
That's okay. No. Them is correct grammar, actually, as it turns out. So I really enjoy Jen Hickman's art. So I'm really glad that I was able to pick up the variant cover.
Continues to be interesting. I look forward to kind of eventually like seeing more of this political character
Mm-hmm.
that they keep hinting about.
This I feel like was a good issue, but I feel like I didn't learn anything else in this issue than I didn't already know in issue 1 and 2. Does that make sense?
Yes, I got 3 hours sleep, Josh. Like, leave me alone. Having a bad day. Um, I was more interested about like what a douche her partner is or was,
Mm-hmm.
and what made him the monster, or was it just like kind of showing that he was a monster already, and it took like manifested itself.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite issue of it. I felt like issue 1 was like by far the strongest.
Yeah.
What do you got next?
I have Scouts Honor number 2.
I got 1, 2, and I haven't read either yet.
Oh, really? Okay. So
John and Justin both like absolutely loved issue
Mhm.
2.
Yep. This one was really, really good. Because it's like a post-apocalyptic world, but in it, society has basically rebuilt itself using the Boy Scouts manual. And the like Boy Scouts person, Hancock, whatever his name is, says, like, set up the rules, and like that's their like God person. And this young lady is this one went into interesting territory because the main character is um, dressing up as a male in order to be in this world. And there's things that happen where she can get discovered. But there is a very interesting conversation happening in this where is she dressing up as a boy, or does she is she male? And, so I think that there's some interesting conversations that are happening that are kind of subtext to the main plot of post-apocalyptic world and like Boy Scouts. This is like if Lumberjanes was Boy Scouts and it was post-apocalyptic, I feel like, but even darker. And it does go into the world of like the sci-fi technology. I feel like especially the second issue did some of that like sci-fi technology stuff. So pretty interesting issue number 2. If you can pick up issue number 1, do it. I think it's going to be one of those hot titles, and issue 2 was also really good.
A book that I was lukewarm on the first issue, Last Witch number 2 was like light years better than issue 1.
I 100% agree. I'm really surprised that I didn't already mention it because the first one did feel very tropey. I'm like, okay, this
Yes.
is Brave. This is like every like Disney movie featuring a redheaded witch that I've
That's
ever.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, but then this one I think went even darker. It went really creepier
Way
than I
darker.
thought it was going to be. I don't want to spoil, basically what happens, but it does go to a much darker place. And because we don't see the thing that happened, I'm curious if a trick is being played. But Last Witch number 2, I almost didn't pick it up. I'm glad that I did because I think when I read issue 1, I'm like, I'm not gonna pick it up. But
Go pick it up, John. Like, it
yeah.
was shockingly better than the first one, and
Yep.
it was kind of a big boy issue. It felt like there was a ton of pages. I didn't do a count
Mm-hmm.
on it, but like there was a lot.
It's a thick one. Thick with 2
Yeah.
C's.
Like I like it was so much better than issue 1. It was surprising because again,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, do I even pick this up? I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to even buy this. Your next one.
My next one, another one that I actually enjoyed issue number 2 more than I enjoyed issue number 1, and that was the Eternals. Once again, another one
I'm
that I
dropping it.
almost didn't pick up. I actually really enjoyed issue number 2. I'm probably going to be still picking this up as we go along.
I did not. I'm dropping it. I did not enjoy it. I thought it was just trudging. Like,
It's a lot, and I think that
it also
Kieran
helps. I don't
Gillen.
like the characters.
I agree. Like I'm not too like the characters aren't really like lovable other than the comic relief of Sprite, is it?
Yes.
Um, but I do think that it's very like classic Kieran Gillen to do the characters speaking, and then you also hear their inner monologue or you hear a narration of what's going on. And I feel like the last couple volumes, or sorry, the last couple issues of Die have been very heavy on that like narration plus speaking, so like speech bubble, thought bubble type thing. And I've been hating it. And this I actually didn't mind because I felt like the story was really good. Um, I'm gonna pick up the next issues because I did enjoy it.
Thunderbolts number 2. Like, the King
That
of
one
Black
I
Thunder.
didn't pick up. Mm-hmm.
It just makes me laugh. Like, it. I'm unabashed. Like, I'm all in on Taskmaster right now. I
Okay.
picked up Taskmaster number 3. Like, it like I didn't realize that We Can Never Go Home. Matthew Rosenberg was writing Thunderbolts,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's fucking ridiculous. Like, and I
I
love
feel like
every moment.
it's like Suicide Squad. I feel like granted I only read issue 1. I
But worse
haven't read issue 2.
characters.
Yeah, but worse. Yeah. Not
Eh,
lovable at all.
yeah, because it was like a 2 for Taskmaster for me because his own book issue 3 came out, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just as fucking ridiculous. I didn't realize what a huge Taskmaster fan I am, but I'm all in. I'm a Tony Masters fan, which even the fucking name, his fucking real name is Tony Masters. It has to be like just, it's so stupid. I love it. That's my promotion for Taskmaster. Oh, it's so dumb. Your next book.
My next book, speaking because Thunderbolts is a um, King in Black tie-in, and I'll just kind of go here. So I did not like Sword issue 1, so I didn't pick up issue number 2. However, I really, really liked this cover. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. So I did end up picking up issue number 2, and then I picked up issue 3, so I read both of those. Really enjoyed this book. Um, I don't know how else to I don't know, talk about it other than I enjoyed it and I'm surprised. Because then Sword, the what do you call it? Like big
The big sword ship.
outer space shield, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Um and we're seeing Sword in Wandavision, so maybe, I don't know, we'll get something. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, folks.
The Chaos and Comics and I were talking because I saw his like review of the X books that came out, and I actually agreed with him. I liked Hellions this week.
Oh, I didn't read Hellions.
It Mr. Sinister's weirdly become such like a big joke character now. Like it's weird. But like the humor was pretty on point in it, and like it made me laugh a bit, so I liked it. I didn't read X Force yet. I know John's comics said he really liked it.
Yo, I loved X Force. I loved it. I hadn't really been reading it outside of the issues that came out for Ten of Swords, but I'm probably going to go back and read a lot more of this because I do like Quentin Quire, and I like Kid Omega. Is that it? I always get it Kid Omega, not Omega
Yeah.
Kid. So I really enjoy what's going on. So I'm probably going to go back and end up reading all of them.
I read Star Wars Darth Vader.
Okay.
I continue to enjoy that.
It's like issue
currently.
20 something. What issue is it on?
12?
Oh, never mind.
They restarted it. Oh no, 10.
Oh, 10. Okay.
Yeah, it's been good. Vader, of course, is very emo in this because that's just what Vader is. He's just a big emo that can slaughter you.
Because emo boys need someone to look up to, because emo boys don't have enough I don't know, father figures.
Did you see that video of Timothy Chalamet as Edward Scissorhands?
No.
The Super Bowl commercial. Oh
no,
boy!
But I need to now.
Yeah, look it up. It's funny. Not as funny as Cinia texting me while watching David Lynch's Dune for the first time, and her.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of what the fuck. She's like, why did you not tell me this is horrible? I was like, we did.
I mean, you still need to watch it. Like Dune, 1984, David Lynch Dune, I feel like is a rite of passage, but you need to go into it knowing you need to watch it and that it's horrible. Especially because she watched it after she read the book, and there's so many moments in it that are like, what? This never happened in the book. Like the fucking guild navigator and the juice of Sappho lips and all of those things.
My favorite was those eyebrows, Peter, that's a choice. Or Peter, and then like, bro, this movie's so white. Yeah.
So the Villanueva, whatever. Villeneuve, their movie can be horrible, but it'll still be better than anything we've ever gotten. So.
Oh, wow. Robert Smith is Darth Vader. That helmet couldn't hold that hair.
No. I'm trying to make like a Friday I'm in Love joke, and it's not happening.
The Imperial March is If Only Tonight We Could Sleep.
Yeah.
Or the fourth. Yeah. Or Fascination Street. Hated that song when it first came out. I hated that album, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. American Vampire 1976. It continues to keep building up to this giant showdown. It's just edging. But what book was it? Oh, did you see what I posted today with Tula Ote, that Abbott 1973 cover?
No.
She is so fucking good. Like, it's in my Instagram stories. Okay. I reposted it, but holy shit.
Is that coming out not next week, but the week after?
Yes, it's next week. Is number 3. Her cover is for issue 5.
Okay.
Where's it number? Yeah, it would be issue 2. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So her cover's for issue 5.
1973, issue 2.
Yes.
But hers is number 5. Okay, cool.
Which I haven't read any of it yet, but I keep buying it. I'll get to it. I only have 223 books in digital right now. And shout out to Cinia and Read Across the Stars for setting me up for failure on their book club by doing a young adult romance horror novel for the first month I'm on. Did not tell me until I got it in my hands, like, oh yeah, we thought it would break your brain. I was like,
well, in all fairness, I feel like that's what happened with Cinia with Dune. So
she kind of knew what she was getting into, but she also got thirst trapped by Oscar Isaac and Timothy Chalamet, where she was going to read it one way or another, but she realized she needed to buddy read. I also said that if she wanted to buddy read Game of Thrones and she was having trouble, that I would do that. Because I just need her to go, what the fuck is going on? Like, there's a lot of food porn here.
Yeah, yep, that is a lot. It's a hunger trap, not a thirst trap.
I think I'm pretty much Commanders in Crisis was like the only other book I really got to finish. And Daredevil.
I read Daredevil. I have not been really keeping up with this, but I'm here for Elektra as Daredevil. So I'll probably be picking up more of it because
Matt's in jail for 2 years.
And I think that with Elektra, like, there's this conversation of like, who is Elektra? And granted, it's like the King in Black tie-in with this issue, but it's like she's having this conversation of like, I'm not Daredevil, I'm me. I'm going to fight the way that I fight. So I really liked that conversation. And also this cover is just absolutely beautiful.
And Typhoid Mary was in it, so that alone. Also, Commanders in Crisis, shout out to Steve Orlando for working ass eating into it.
Oh, yeah. That was chef's kiss on that. So.
I was like... Oh, I didn't see that cover.
Yeah, I like this cover a lot. This was issue number 5. I feel like we're obviously like near ending.
We're getting arc. pretty close, yeah.
So I think the next issue is probably going to be the end of the first arc. That's what I'm imagining. It's going to some emotional places. So I'm curious to see where that goes. Hopefully more ass eating.
I noticed we haven't seen Decorum in like 2 months.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm okay with that because like Decorum was just like meh. Maybe they'll just give us like.
I just wanted to finish. Like, yeah. I know it's weird. Like, just let's get to the end. Like, let's just move on.
Well, I've got a couple more books that I'll go ahead and talk about since that was the end of yours. So Black Panther #1. This one was pretty good. We get to see.
King in Black.
Well, we get to see the King in Black stuff in getting close to Wakanda, and there's a really cool conversation between Shuri and T'Challa, and kind of that how do they fight? They're going to fight in their own way, so it's pretty interesting to see that big bad invade Wakanda. So that was fun. I also got Knock 'em Dead #3. So the premise of this story, this is doing that like Aftershock thing where it's like in issue 1, you're like, wait, what's going on? In issue 2, you're like, wait, what's going on? And I feel like issue 3, like, okay, that's what's going on. It did that to me. So for those of you who haven't read this, a struggling, up and coming comedian who does stand-up comedy is trying to like find their way, trying to find their voice. They die in a car accident, but then they come back to life and they get possessed by a spirit. And then all of a sudden, they're funny and their sets kill. So in this one, they get an exorcism, and I thought there was some really. This is actually as kind of like dark and depressing as this book has been. It's actually been pretty funny and pretty humorous. So if you like that dark comedy style, I recommend it a lot.
I read issue 1 and I just was like, no, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, it's dark in the way that I feel like a lot of Aftershock titles have been. But another one that I got is I did get Critical Role Vox Machina. This one I haven't read any of the other series, so I but I know what Critical Role is. I have a crush on Matthew Mercer because I think he's really cute. But
is it a dirty thing or is it?
It's almost always a dirty thing, to be honest. But he's really cute, so it's more of like. So, anyways, I feel like I would maybe enjoy this more if I had read the previous 2 series. But it was actually fun. If you like D&D, I think you could pick it up, and it gets a little bit like raucous, like it's a D&D group going out and partying and drinking all the time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Matt Mercer identifies as he, him. So fucking fight me about it.
I give up.
Yeah. So the next one on my list, you know what, I'll do this one. So Origins, number 4 of 6. This is one of, I really enjoyed issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, and then I feel like issue 4 is kind of going here, but it's only going to set us up for 5 and 6 to go to some really fun places. So
can I get that as an infographic?
Yeah. So, post-apocalyptic, but there's like a clone boy. It's cute, kind of like that found family type thing. I think that if you haven't already picked up Origins, then wait for the trade. I think it's going to be a really good trade wait. And then last for me was Orcs. I loved it. It was cute.
Rod read that. He talked about that on the Tag Team Thursday yesterday.
I feel like this one and the Critical Role Vox Machina one, I don't, because I guess like, you know, to me it's all set in like a D&D type world. I just thought this one it's adorable. It's really cute. Like, I'm trying to find a page. The artwork is just very cartoony, but you've got orcs and it's really queer, which I really love. So
every time I hear the Vox Machina, for some reason my brain goes to like Oscar Isaac and Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, yeah. So, and then I read the first Harley Ivy story in Love is a Battlefield, but I haven't finished the rest. This is,
Hit and miss.
I really do wish that Future State had been this. So.
Yeah, I think it's like a monthly anthology book where it was like 4 stories or something, and it might have been worth that $9 price point. Like,
yep, and especially because with Future State, you're like the titles that I didn't expect to like, I really loved, and to ask people to spend $7-8 here, $6 here, $4 here, it's like I literally had to pick up all of them and read all of them to figure that out. So if I could have just picked up $9.99 trade, maybe 2, that would have been easier. So
so did you happen to watch WandaVision this morning?
of course I did. It was like I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and yep, loved it.
So the dynamic between Wanda and Vision at the beginning, where now he's like kissing her on the cheek, I was like, okay. Tommy wearing his Billy wearing his Wiccan outfit for Halloween also was a nice little. But then Pietro shows up with the the old school X-Men Quicksilver costume. I was like, oh boy, we got the hair too. What the fuck?
To be honest, I felt with Pietro's character was a lot of comic relief. And
Yes.
I think that we needed a little bit of comic relief. I felt like it was almost a little bit too much because it felt like off.
Until
But
she
so,
smacked him.
yeah, but the moment that I loved the most is the kick ass moment, because he played a character in Kick Ass, and the person that so he played Kick Ass's friend, and the
Yes.
person who played Kick Ass was
Was
the other Quicksilver. So like that little nod, like I did one of those moments when I
you were
was watching
Leonardo
it.
DiCaprio. Go,
Yeah, that's exactly the meme. I was like, yeah.
like it really the end where I was like, okay, well, she's flexing now.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, so Vision really wants to get the fuck out of there.
He does, but he doesn't. So I do just want to go ahead and say, because we are talking WandaVision, here there be spoilers. So for anyone who hasn't watched it, there's going to be a couple of spoilers here. But I guess if you've already watched the first couple of episodes, you probably know this is coming. But so since Vision is dead, and in this, we from the beginning of the episode, you probably know that Vision is going to try to escape this Westview world that Wanda is in, and um, he finally kind of breaks free of her hold on the hex thing. And as he's like walking out, you see bits of him crumble because he's dead. Um, so Vision wants out, but he doesn't know that he's dead. So it's kind of like, would you rather be dead and not have any control, or be alive and also have some control?
And then Billy feels like the psychic scream.
Yeah, I felt like Billy looked like Doctor Strange to me. Like when I saw his outfit, because he had like the band and the cape, I got Doctor Strange vibes. So I'm curious where that goes.
Well, no, that's his costume in Young Avengers.
Hmm.
Like he has a cape and a headband. Just a kid version of it.
Yeah. So I thought that that was kind of cool. Um, the next episode is the last episode. Is that correct, or do we get a couple more after this?
It's 8 episodes.
8. Okay, so we get at least so this was 6, so we get at least
2
2
more.
more. So I think that'll be good to tie it up. And also the other moment that I had in this, one of my favorite parts of, I don't necessarily want to say childhood, but I remember every day coming home from high school and watching Malcolm in the Middle. And I
That's
actually
it. Oh,
went
100%.
and I actually I recently went and rewatched Malcolm in the Middle. And so immediately whenever they set up that, like, because we're in the 90s now, and that one came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, I had another moment like that popped up, and I was like, Malcolm in the Middle. I probably said that one more than I said Kick Ass, but I really loved that like throwback to Malcolm in the Middle.
Like seeing Elizabeth Olsen come down in the like old school Scarlet Witch outfit, I was like,
Yeah. I think we were all waiting for that to happen.
yeah. If I was like, I don't normally like get like this, but like she's fucking very attractive.
Yeah, she really is.
And then I was like, how did she end up being the tall one out of all the Olsens?
Yeah, very true.
So I was very tired this morning, and like started going down like a weird corridor of thoughts where I was like, that's a really weird family. I was like, not like the Culkins where they all look the same.
Yeah.
Again, like weird corridor, but it was fairly strong episode, but like it ends so abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see what Darcy became in the other world.
No.
Some people became clowns.
I thought that was kind of cute. I like that she's taking like that moment where, because spoiler alert, people, when Wanda's like, because the hex is here, and then all of a sudden it starts growing because she knows that Vision is in trouble. So is she growing it and taking over things because she can get Vision, or is she doing it because she's angry and she's like, no, I'm in control, I'm going to take over
Both.
more. So because even think about how much we know she's powerful, right? Like we know that, but how when Vision is initially there and he's walking through, he's trying to find the end of Westview. So he's trying to get out of the hex. And as the closer you get to the border between the hex and the real world, her powers start fading. She doesn't have control over the people. So, like, how much longer can she keep this up if she's using more brain computing power for a bigger spot? So is that ultimately going to crash? Like, so
The Pietro flashback with her as kids, I thought was hysterical. She's like, I don't think we're remembering that the same.
yeah, yep. So I really hope that they keep him, that they don't I hope that they don't kill him off. I think that there's a moment where Wanda says to Pietro in the beginning, she says something along the lines of, if you don't behave or something, I'm going to turn you into a herring. And so I think that he is actually, he's, to use the like writer's term, I think that he's a red herring. I think that he's being shown as one thing, but he's actually something else. I wouldn't be surprised if someone is controlling him at an attempt to get to her, because you see later on in the episode where Pietro is basically, how are you doing this? So I think that Pietro is not Pietro. I think it's someone else controlling him or something.
I like when she turns around and sees like the dead version of him.
Like all of a sudden he has like bullet. So I do think that I don't think that's actually her brother. I think that he's being controlled by someone else. So who knows?
I know that everybody wants to like go and say it's Mephisto.
That's kind of where I went when I was watching that. So we'll see.
I remember in West Coast Avengers when she found out that like basically she conjured her kids up and they weren't real and they were actually pieces of Master Pandemonium.
Yeah.
They were his arms that were stolen. I don't know. They could go many, many places with this, but how everybody was saying this was like Tom King's.
That's honestly where I went into it. Everyone was like, before, the first couple issues, I was like, this is straight up going to be Tom King's Vision. It is not.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
Coming up next Wednesday, no, not next Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays from now at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, we will be talking Ice Cream Man and Gambit's first time reading, so that should be interesting. And is it Josh? Is it really?
I think so.
I think she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, to be honest, at this point.
But I think for people who aren't in the bubble of someone's grief, that's what it can look like.
Maybe, I don't know. Like Scarlet Witch is one of those characters that like she's kind of always on the edge. Like many, many times, and they keep welcoming her back. Like repeatedly. She's gone evil 4 times now. I mean, canceling all mutants was probably her biggest, killing Hawkeye and many, many other things. So yeah, we have book club coming up the 24th. I will be announcing the March book, which unfortunately our guests have already fucking spoiled.
But in all honesty,
whatever.
I know what it is, but I'm excited.
Yeah, because it's someone we've been dancing around and haven't really gone to, but talked about many, many, many times. And I blame Rodney Barnes for making me want to do it. because we kept talking about. Um, and every Thursday now, I have Tag Team Thursdays with starting at 6:30 with Rod Justarican, 6:45 with John's Comics with Kids, Old Wolf 65 at 7 o'clock. I'm at 7:15 with No Good Comics at 7:30, and he always runs over his 15 minutes. Is why he's the closer. Yesterday was the first time with me joining it, and I thought it went pretty well. My part is always talking about next week's books and just being comic vomit.
Comic vomit. I
Because
love
I
it.
just pick up too much, and then I bitch about stuff and go on little rants within my 15 minutes. And then on Fridays after this at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, you're on with Hero and the Kid, with sometimes rotating guests, sometimes static guests, panelists. You never know.
Yeah. It's always fun. Because I feel like even last week we kind of talked about planning, and then you know, even sometimes I'm like, I don't know what books we're gonna read, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read all of them. So
Well, if you need somebody March 5th, I'm actually off of work.
got it.
Surprisingly.
Duly noted.
I think it's March 5th. I gotta check again, but it's like the weird I have a Friday off. Yep, March 5th. So, and then Sunday you have Casual Comics. Or is it? Yeah, it's Casual Comics.
Casual comics. It's casual, you know, it's whatever you want it to be.
It's coffee talk with bagels.
Coffee talk. So I can't do coffee and comics because Bueller does the coffee and comics, and I can't take that because him and Bullseye Bob from Everything Comics just do such a perfect job on Monday mornings with that. But last week we were actually super last minute, and I didn't even know it was going to happen, but V from Read Across the Stars joined us, so
yeah,
that was
she
fun.
messaged me saying she asked you why I was still alive.
Yeah, after I think it's up here somewhere.
Yeah, I was just like, well, that's a fun question to ask. She's like, it needed to be asked.
It's up there. I put a couple other first appearances from my collection up there.
I sold my Moon Girl #1.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
have 2 copies, and I think that I'm going to really, really, really trim down my collection, and I'm gonna go ahead and sell what I can, and I'm gonna get House of Secrets 92. That's like I'm gonna spend that DB money. So who knows? Maybe I'll get that before March.
I know Nat said I have a package coming from her, and I'm kind of worried because a couple months ago she asked me what my grails were.
Ooh.
And like I one of my top grails was the first Alan Moore Swamp Thing, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I'd be angry at her if I got that.
I did this last week. Oh goodness, and it's not.
I saw that one you picked up from your show last week.
I did. I ended up. It's not Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, but
no,
it's
Len Wein.
Yep.
With Wrightson, I think.
Yep. So I did. It's probably not right. It is. Oh no, that's the other Swamp Thing. Yes. So I did pick this up, and I gave it a new bag and board. Oh goodness, don't fall on me. I'll just go ahead and do this. So I did pick it up for like $7. So I don't think it's obviously not like a great copy, but I think it's just cool to have.
Oh, by the way, did you see if we ever have to do a trailer reaction that you can share videos on StreamYard?
That's awesome. I mean, I think that for me, because I use StreamYard on a phone, so for me the experience doing it is a little bit different than with a computer.
Yeah, because like they were like, hey, now you can. I was like, great. Now we won't have some asshole bitching at us because that we didn't share the video when we reacted to Dune. Yeah, I know. I was just like, whatever.
Okay, I have a proposition for YouTube commenter. How about we do this? How about we do a reaction video to our reaction video and put both videos of our original reaction and the trailer, and then we react to us reacting. It's meta. That's meta.
Ooh, speaking of actually, because the Dune theater thing popped in my head,
September, right?
October.
Oh, I thought they announced it for September.
Or did they move it? I don't know. Like I stopped after a certain point, like looking anymore, because all it does is get me upset. Because it was like coming to HBO Max, not coming to HBO Max. No, September is coming to Europe first.
Oh, okay, maybe that's why.
So they were talking to John Carpenter about Halloween Kills, and he goes, "Theaters are dead. It's going to go to streaming. I wouldn't be surprised." I was like, "Oh wow!" Like just come out right there and say it. And he was like, "Yep, the theater experience is dead."
That doesn't surprise me. I think that this last year in quarantine has changed the experience for a lot of us. I know that like I've limited a lot of experiences that I have. Like I now pretty much only get my groceries delivered, and I don't want to go to like big grocery stores or anything like that. Like I'll probably never willingly step foot into a Walmart again. Places like that, I may just choose to. So that like shopping, that like random shopping, I think is over for me. Maybe more like nuanced, very specific shopping in store, but just going into a place to browse, it's over.
If anybody is looking for a movie to rent, you can get it through any of the streaming services. Psycho Gorman is fucking insane, and I love it. Like this alien dictator comes to Earth, and a little girl finds the thing that controls him, and she like has him dress up like a cowboy at the family dinner. It's fucking great, and then it becomes like a weird Power Rangers movie at the end where she's using him to fight other bounty hunters. Like, and he has like just this great dialogue where the parents are like, "Oh, it's nice of you. I'd rather destroy you and eat you, like beat you with your own limbs." Just, it's stupid. It's funny. It's gory. I love it.
And what is it called one more time?
Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman. You know,
watch the trailer on
titles.
YouTube, and like you'll want to watch it immediately.
Okay.
It's so fucking ridiculous, and like it called to me. It was just like, you must watch this insane piece of crap. I mean art. I meant art.
Art. Okay.
Yes. And we have everybody making a big deal about the Zack Snyder fucking trailer. Like they're like, the teaser for the trailer. I was like, who the fuck cares? Like, it's a 4-hour fucking movie that we've already kind of seen. Except with Jared Leto in it.
I feel like I'm going to go into it. Like, I'm not going to obsess over the trailers and things like that. But I do think I'm going to go into the movie the same way that I went into Wonder Woman. Like, I went into Wonder Woman with very low expectations, just expecting to waste an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'll probably go into the Snyder cut the same way. Maybe I'll be surprised.
Next month, Carlito and I are going to do a movie review of Kong versus Godzilla.
Ooh. I hope
that
Godzilla
premieres.
wins. I hope Godzilla wins.
I think they're going to become super best friends. It's going to be like stepbrothers, except they're not going to be able to talk.
I think that Godzilla is going to be like, Martha, why'd you say that name? Do you bleed?
Kong's going to play the drums while Godzilla starts singing like Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, yeah.
Voice like heaven.
His voice of his generation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's going to have like subtitles. Did we just become friends?
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. And then they're going to like, his little arms are going to be like.
It's going to be wholesome.
I can only hope. They're going to like write poems and email each other, and then they're gonna work on Monster Journal together.
I love it.
They both win and Doom shows so thank you everybody for joining us. We're hitting that hour and a half mark. as always, like, comment, subscribe somewhere down here. And there's like a notification bell. I don't really know what it does, except for like when you go live, it occasionally like will tell you. Sometimes it won't still, even after you hit that notification bell.
I have notifications turned off for almost everything, but you can either, whenever like you know, you post the live video that like there's an upcoming live video, you can set a reminder in the video itself, or you can go to the channel itself and you can set on all reminders. So there's some channels that I set on all reminders, and then there's some that I just wait for the live videos. So thank you, John. I hope you have a good weekend.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And again, you can catch Jen later tonight. You can catch her Sunday.
So sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the evenings. This week, again, I'm working an early shift on Sunday. So I think I'm looking at Sunday later in the evening for the show. So.
And then Thursday from 6:30 to almost 8 o'clock, we're live chatting during our premieres of our videos. I'm editing videos again, which is always an adventure, having to hear my voice over and over and over. Yes, I annoy myself even. And then Friday, like always, you can find us here.
Find us here.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
And farewell.